Get ready for a deep dive into something pretty wild.
Sounds good.
Cat wine.
Hmm.
Yeah, you heard that right. Apparently it's a thing.
Really?
Seriously.
Uh,
And you know what apparently pairs well with overpriced beverages for your feline overlords?
what's that?
Poetry slams. Yeah, at
Oh,
least that's what this article we're looking at seems to think. So
interesting.
buckle up because we're going to unpack how Nyan Nouveau,
Yan no nouveau.
yes, that's the actual name,
Oh.
is somehow the key to unlocking your inner Shakespeare.
That's quite a claim.
It really is.
It's a remarkable feat of marketing, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah.
To convince humans that their cats need a Pinot Meow
Yeah.
is one thing, but to then link it to the art of poetry, that takes a special kind of audacity.
For real? I mean, you think anyone is actually buying this stuff for their cat. Like,
Yeah.
I get spoiling your pet, but
Yeah.
this seems like a whole other level.
But that's precisely the point, isn't it? It's not about practicality.
Yeah.
It's about tapping into a very specific consumer psychology.
Yeah.
The article actually highlights this. It points out how both cat wine and poetry slams are
yeah.
ultimately unnecessary, but they thrive on creating a spectacle.
I mean, okay, so we've established cat wine is ridiculous.
Mhm.
But how do we get from there to poetry
Mm.
slams? The article mentions something about golden rules
Yeah.
for impactful writing.
Yeah, the author lays out 3 rules, starting with start with a punch to the gut.
Okay.
And they really deliver on this one. They open with this dramatic, almost tragicomic anecdote about a life ruined by feline alcoholism.
Wait, hold on. A life ruined by
It's pretty wild.
cat wine. Are we sure this isn't satire?
Well, that's the beauty of it. It walks this fine line between chipper and genuine insight.
Mm.
And by using such a hyperbolic scenario, it grabs our attention immediately and sets the stage for what's to come.
All right, so punch to the gut. Got it. What's next?
The second rule is make the ordinary magical. And in this case, it's about transforming the mundane act of pouring a glass of cat wine into a grand narrative,
Oh, wow.
filled with feline intrigue and dramatic tension.
So basically, take something as simple as cat wine
Yeah,
and turn it into like a Shakespearean tragedy for the Instagram age.
precisely.
Wow.
It's about finding the story within the seemingly ordinary,
Okay.
elevating the everyday into something extraordinary.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's a valuable skill in any form of communication, isn't it?
I guess so. But isn't that a bit manipulative?
What do you mean?
Like dressing up something as frivolous as cat wine to make it seem profound.
Perhaps. But isn't all storytelling to some extent an act of manipulation?
Ooh.
We carefully choose our words, we craft our narratives to evoke specific emotions,
Right.
and ultimately guide our audience toward a desired response.
Okay. You've got me thinking.
Good.
That's the last golden rule.
Be brutally honest.
Okay.
The author admits that their fascination with cat wine isn't really about their cat's enjoyment. It's about their own need to belong, to feel like they're part of a trend.
So they're admitting they're a sucker for marketing, just like the rest of us.
Exactly. And in doing so, they create this sense of relatability,
Uh-huh.
this shared experience of being bombarded with consumerism and sometimes succumbing to its allure. It's disarmingly honest and, dare I say, refreshing.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this whole cat wine thing ties into bigger ideas about storytelling and marketing.
Yes,
But the article also talks about
it does.
deadly tips for writing. What's that all about?
These tips are about pushing boundaries, breaking the rules of conventional storytelling.
Okay.
The first one is use the art of the pause.
Okay.
The author paints this picture of an empty bottle of cat wine hitting the floor,
Ooh.
emphasizing the power of silence and allowing the audience to fill in the blanks.
I'm imagining my cat staring at me with that judgmental look they get when I've disappointed them. You know the one that says, you've reached peak human absurdity?
Precisely. It's about creating suspense,
Yeah.
leaving the audience wanting more and letting their imaginations run wild. The second tip, however, takes things to a whole new level.
Here we go.
Overwhelm reality.
Okay.
The author concocts this elaborate scenario.
Uh-huh.
It involves a violin-playing neighbor,
Okay.
a case of mistaken identity,
Oh, wow.
and a cat-induced pregnancy scare.
Oh, what?
It's so outlandish, so utterly bizarre. It
Yeah.
leaves you wondering if you've accidentally stumbled into a fever dream.
And that's the point, right? To shock the reader, to shake them out of their complacency.
Exactly. It's a bold move.
Yeah.
One that could backfire spectacularly if not handled deftly.
Right.
But when executed well, it can create a truly unforgettable experience.
So we're talking about taking creative risks.
Yes.
Pushing the boundaries of what's considered acceptable or even sane.
In a way, yes. It's about challenging conventions.
Okay.
Defying expectations.
Yeah.
And ultimately refusing to be boring.
Okay. I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. It's not really about cat wine or poetry slams at all, is it?
No.
It's about using these seemingly absurd concepts as a springboard to explore deeper ideas about storytelling, marketing, and even self-reflection.
Precisely. The article uses humor and satire to draw us in.
Yeah.
But beneath the surface lies a valuable message.
Okay.
It's about the power of narrative, the importance of authenticity, and the need to embrace our own unique voices.
And ultimately, it's a call to action, isn't it?
Absolutely.
To choose to be memorable, impactful, and thought-provoking.
Yes.
Rather than fading into the background noise of mediocrity.
Exactly. The author challenges us to find our own neon nouveau moments, those unexpected sparks of inspiration that can lead to truly captivating stories.
I have to admit, I'm starting to feel a bit inspired myself. Maybe I should try writing a sonnet about my cat's disdain for budget kibble.
Perhaps a haiku about the existential angst of a hairball. See, now you're getting it. But seriously, if even something as ridiculous as cat wine can spark such a thought-provoking discussion about creativity and communication, what other unexpected sources of inspiration might be lurking in our everyday lives?
That's the question we should all be asking ourselves.
For real.
What seemingly mundane experiences,
Yeah.
what overlooked details might hold the key to unlocking our own creative potential?
And speaking of unlocking potential, the article does mention a resource.
Yes.
For those looking to hone their storytelling skills.
Okay.
Something called the Poetry Master Program.
Yes. It's an interesting tie-in.
Yeah.
The author presents it as a way for readers to take the principles discussed in the article and apply them to their own writing.
So if you're of course.
Now, that's a mental image I can't unsee. But before we descend further into this catnip-fueled madness, I think it's time to wrap things up.
Okay.
What final thoughts would you like to leave our listeners with?
Well, after diving into this wacky world of cat wine and poetry slams, I think the biggest takeaway for me is this.
Okay.
Never underestimate the power of a good story, no matter how absurd or unconventional it may seem.
You've got that.
And perhaps more importantly, never be afraid to embrace the absurdity.
Okay.
To challenge conventions.
Right.
And to let your own unique voice shine through.
I like that. Who knows, maybe your cat's latest hairball is actually like a postmodern masterpiece just waiting to be interpreted.
Or maybe that half-eaten can of tuna is a metaphor for the futility of consumerism.
Okay, now you're just messing with me.
Yeah.
But hey, if it gets people thinking outside the box, you know,
and
embracing their own weirdness, I'm all for it.
Precisely. Sometimes the most profound insights come from the most unexpected places.
So to all our listeners out there, the next time you find yourself staring into the abyss of your cat's food bowl, remember,
there's a story waiting to be told.
And maybe a little bit of marketing genius, too.
Maybe.
And if you're feeling truly adventurous, why not check out that Poetry Master Program? Mentioned in the article. Who knows? Maybe it'll help you channel your inner feline muse.
That's right.
And craft a sonnet that would make even T.S. Eliot jealous.
He would be impressed.
Just be sure to have plenty of cat wine on hand for inspiration.
Of course.
Or, beetroot juice. Whatever floats your cat's boat.
Exactly.
Until next time.
Yes.
May your words be sharp, your insights be keen, and your cat's wine cellar be fully stocked.
Cheers to that.
And remember, folks, when life gives you cat wine, make poetry.